Hi, it's Jake at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today is Friday the 13th in May 2016. Today we're going to take a look at the Ganzo G711. No, sorry. This is the G711, and it just came today. We'll talk about that another day. Today we're going to talk about the G717. I've got an orange one. I've been carrying this thing for over a month, and as much as I am going head over heels over my 711 that just came about less than half an hour ago, this 717 has been a load of fun to carry. So everybody and their dog has a video about the G717, and I'm another one. But if you're interested, stick around. We're going to move the camera onto the table and we'll take a look. Hang on, guys. Here we go. So this is it, the G717. I think it was roughly 5 years ago that this knife was introduced, and so a lot of people have had their hands on this. This is version 2, but Ganzo didn't make any big deal about the difference between version 1 and version 2. There's some other guys that have the videos on that. The main difference is right in this area. The first edition had the thumb screw, the thumb pivot, the thumb actuator. Boy, I'm just fumbling for words today. At a slightly different spot. And the G10 wasn't milled out nicely. We're going to move this a little closer so you can take a look. See how nicely that's milled out? If I put my thumb in this way, it rides down. Maybe another angle would be helpful. The thumb rides down into that trench and gets onto the thumb stud, and it's open. The way it was before, you can really see it now. The way it was before is, see how the edge is just straight down here? That used to carry all the way through this choil. So if you're taking a look at pictures, sometimes the prices are different between the two, because I've still seen the first edition on sale. At GearBest, it cost like $1.50 less than the second generation. So be careful. Look for the milling right there for the thumb stud. All right, now let's talk about the other good stuff that we got about this thing. You can get this thing at GearBest for $18.58 right now. That's roughly what I paid for mine. And at Fast Tech, it's just slightly more, a little bit closer to $19. But you know, they've got them in stock as well. This is a really nice knife that I've been carrying around. It looks a little bit Sebenza-ish, doesn't it? Sort of the style. Of course, the milling on this G10 looks totally different. I just mean the profile, or the silhouette of it, if you will. Looks a little Sebenza-ish. But it's a really great knife. It's, let's see, 8 inches. I got to move down. This way, all the way across, it's right around 8 inches. And when it's closed, it's like 4 3/4 inches, roughly. That's about 12 centimeters. That's about 20.5 centimeters. So it's a pretty good size knife to carry around. It's got some heft to it. We'll talk about the weight in just a minute. It's got the axis lock, G10 that you can get in a few different colors, black, orange, sort of a military green. I hope they come out with other colors in this knife. I think I would buy every single color. You know, once I get enough money together and I've got the other things that I want my first of, then I'm going to start ordering doubles and triples of things and get different colors. I think I want this in every color available. I'd like it in red and yellow and an apple green, even a pink and a purple, and just absolutely everything that I could possibly get. I would love to have this knife in those different things. What's got me so enamored, besides this handle and how it feels, it's this stonewash blade. Man, that is a sweet blade. I really love the nice, long, slow belly on this knife. It seems to have belly all the way down. Just the last half an inch or so is flat. The rest is all that long, gradual belly. It's got this nice drop point on the top. The spine is rounded, so it's not sharp at all. Very soft to the touch on the outside everywhere. If I cover it like this, you can't see, eh? Silly me. Nice, well-rounded all the way up. It's got just a little bit of flat here and here so that you can lock it in your sharpening system if you've got that type, so you can sharpen it. So that's really good. Other than that, it's got the a flat grind here, and it comes down to this sharp little edge that I've not touched. I haven't even stropped this edge. And I've had this over a month, and I've carried it at least every other day. Yeah. And it still cuts like nobody's business. I don't do paper cutting on this channel. You know, I didn't even line that up. I'm not even a good paper cutter. That's one of the reasons why I don't do it. I'm just not good at it. But the edge on this thing, just wow. Okay. I'm going to go back a step, talking about the first and second generation. If you see it as G717-something, that's the second generation. If it's just listed as the G717, then you're probably looking at a first generation knife. I found that as well, so I just wanted to throw that in there. What else are we going to talk about this blade? It's just about 1 inch from spine to cutting edge along, the first bit of it, or the last bit of it, if you want to look at it that way. It's about 3 1/3 inches long, roughly, 8.5 centimeters, something like that. Comes in this really nice stone wash. It doesn't show any scratches, and I've used this to cut an awful lot of stuff. It hasn't marred at all. The jimping that is up here is very minimal jimping, yet it does have some effect. Not a lot, but it has some effect. I believe what I will be doing is, and I don't mind modifying my own knives. Ganzo made it. Now it's my knife. I'm going to modify it. I'm going to take a nice file, and I'm going to just increase that jimping in the very same notches that are already there, and just file it a little bit more, just so that it's got just a slight bit more grip on it for when I really want to use it. But, this scales here, they just give you a load of grip already, just a little bit extra for the thumb. The steel for this blade, as it says right there, 440C, which is a very good high value steel. I'm not a metallurgist. I'm not a specialist. All I know is that this thing took an edge. Well, I guess it took the edge at the factory, but I've got a lot of 440C from Ganzo. It takes an edge and it keeps an edge, and it just works really well. They've hardened this, they say, to a Rockwell of 58, and I really like that. These thumb studs are the last thing on the blade that I started talking about before. They're nice, big, chunky thumb studs, no sharp edges on them. Just so easy. To flick this knife open anytime you want to. You just flick it open. I can almost do it with my left hand all by itself. See that? Really, really like that. So that's mostly about the blade. This axis lock is a little bit stronger than you'd like. It's definitely got more spring back in it than a Benchmade. Benchmades are just so smooth and silky. So you need to use your thumb and your index finger for this, but it works really well. And it's nice, easy to grab, doesn't stick out past the scales. It's a axis lock that just works really well. You can see on this one, I hope you can see, there you go. You can see right, if I got my finger at the, if you look past where my fingernail is pointing, that bit of shiny spot, that's where the lock has been resting on to hold the blade. Just about 2 millimeters in. I would like it to be a little bit more, but I have not found any way to, let me get this out, tapping on it. I've never gotten it to let go. It's never failed me, and I've used this probably more than any other knife in my collection in 2016 anyways. So that's the axis lock. Pivot there has a nice screw. They are all, I think they're T8. All the screws take the same driver. Isn't that nice? They've done it all the same. I really like that. Even on this back side, even the one for the clip, they all take the same driver. So you take one driver out when you want to take this thing apart. Okay, let's move on. The clip. It's not a very deep carry. You know, you'll be able to see an awful lot of this orange when you carry it in your pocket. But it's tip up, right or left. Really nice. I like that. It's a nice clip that it only takes one screw, and it's indented in here. There's one area, the only hot spot on this is a potential hot spot for when you're carrying it like this. Some people might, if they carry it like that, I should say, your pinky might want to rub inside there. So if you're right or left-handed, if your pinky's rubbing in there, yeah, just take a little bit of sandpaper on a little piece of wood block or a very fine file and just file that edge down a little bit. Who says you can't do that kind of thing to your knife? It's yours. Make it suit you. Come on, people. All right. 150 grams this thing is. It's about 5 1/5 ounces, roughly. I'm not into these exact numbers. It doesn't, nobody's going to know if it's 550 grams or 552 grams. Are you going to feel that in your pocket? Yeah. Okay. So roughly 150 grams, just over 5 ounces. So it does have a little bit of weight to it. They did not skeletonize the scales at all. These stainless steel scales are hefty, and you know, they didn't cut anything out. We could have saved a good amount of weight if they would have done that, because G10, this G10 is nice and thick, so it's got an awful lot of strength. It's got really thick liner. They could have saved a little bit of weight there and not have made the knife any weaker at all, at least not in my opinion. It's the open pillar construction. You've got 2 pillars on the back and your pivot. That's all that's holding this thing together, and it's all that it needs. The clip feels good, works good. It's also got the stonewash on it. Let's see, what else am I going to say about this thing before it's just the subjective stuff? See that? Woo-wee! It's just, here we go, just light. It just slides back and forth. I don't have a good mechanism here to show you how easily it swings. But once it's out, it's locked solid. Up and down, back and forth. You're not moving this puppy. Not at all. All right, so it's got very smooth action. Now let me tell you something. I've been poo-pooing Ganzo a little bit for doing one brass bushing washer and the other one this white plastic stuff. Guess what they did on this one? It's got 2 of those nylon, plastic, whatever that material is. It's got no brass bushings at all. And yet it's one of the most free swinging. See that? I'm holding it. All I do is pull the axis and it just swings all the way back. Just unlock the axis lock. And I'm not even holding it straight up and down. And it's just free like a bird. Unlock it again. I'm holding it at about a 45-degree angle and it just slides. Isn't that great? And that's just those plastic bushings. I might have to rethink if I want to put brass bushings on all of them or not. I'd really like to hear your comments, especially from you guys that have been changing those things around. Let me know what's been happening for you guys. So this beautiful cutout of this G10, it's exactly mirrored on the other side. So it's not some random machine. They've got this thing dialed into exactly how they want it to be. Who knows how many different patterns they went through before they landed on this one. Who knows? It might be one and done. It might be their 10th try. Whatever the case is, it just feels really nice in the hand. No hot spots, except for, like I was mentioning, that one pinky possibly. Locks up so easily, closes up so easily. I'd like just a little bit more jimping on there. And a little bit of skeletonizing in the liner. Dang. This thing would just be the sauce, wouldn't it? It's already an awesome knife. It's a great knife. I really like this knife. I'm going to keep carrying it. This is going to be one of my main, no, this already is one of my main EDCs. So what do you think of this video? Do you like this review? Please hit like, give it a thumbs up. Share on your social network if you think this video is worth looking at. And please subscribe. I really like getting subscribers, interacting with you guys. If you make your comments on the bottom, I read them all. I try to respond to them all. And, you know, when I can get to them, sometimes I get busier than other times, but I'm just having so much fun. Always remember, guys and gals, cut towards your chum and not your thumb. Bye-bye now.